Hare Krishna. Welcome to the special Thursday association on folk life. Bharat, that is India, that is Bharat, or Bharat, that is India, whatever it is. This naming of India has been in news for last 2 weeks. Of course, it's died down, but still, I thought it would make sense to me to discuss and talk about Bharat because Krishna also speaks about Bharat in the Bhagavad Gita, and the Vedic literatures is full of this particular name. How name does really matter or doesn't actually matter, we'll discuss in this particular small talk today. Before we start and understand the importance of Bharat and its name and its culture and its values and the duties of the people who are born in this particular land, my name is Rasa, Parayana, Dasa. I go to colleges and corporates to take sessions on Bhagavad Gita. But whenever they introduce me, they spell my name almost every single time wrongly. It does hurt me. Of course, my name is a tongue twister. But if you are called not by your name, by a different name, or someone doesn't even remember your name, or somebody remembers your name, although you would have met him only once, how special you would feel. The name has a feeling associated with it, an identity associated with it, a character, a feeling, an emotion, a life associated with it. Imagine a person when he's called by a different name or a curse name or a pet name or a rude name, how he'd feel insulted, how you become triggered with your emotions to give it back. Imagine an entire country is being named in a different way because the Britishers couldn't spell Bharat or Hindustan. For their convenience, they named it as India. On close to 75 years plus, still we are not in a mood to change the colonial name which is given to us. Of course, we had changed the names of our respective cities, Bengaluru, Chennai, Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, but no one figured out to change the name Bharat. Of course, the political parties have a different agenda, or maybe may not be having agenda, but the opposition says that because we named our alliance as I.N.D.I.A as India, the government wants to change it, the name of the country itself from India to Bharat. But keeping aside the politics behind the name Bharat, let us try to understand what does actually Bharat mean? Where does it originally come from? Originally, the entire world was called as Ilavrita Varsha. Eventually, in due course of time, that usage of Ilavrita Varsha was lost. And later on, it was named after King Bharata. Hence, it was known as Bharat. This entire tract of land, this entire earthly planet was named after a king who used to rule over the whole world. That is Bharat. And until Parikshit Maharaj, the entire planet Earth was ruled by the rulers of India. Sorry, Bharat. Especially from Indraprastha. So that is the uniqueness of this tract of land. Now, why was the name to this tract of planet named after the king Bharat as Bharat? He is the eldest son of Rishabhadev. Rishabhadev is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has his wonderful teaching which is recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 5th canto. One of the beautiful teachings of Rishabhadev, he is instructing his sons as a father. 2 instructions I would always cherish and relish and would love to share it with you today. One instruction is, he says, Nayam dehu baje nruloke kashtan kaman arhate vidbujame tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam yasmat shuddhyet brahma saukyam tvanantam. He is instructing his 100 sons, headed by Bharat, the eldest. See, this is the teachings of a father to his children. Rishabhadev says, my dear sons, having gotten this human form of life, which is very rare, don't work hard for sense gratification, sense enjoyment, which is easily available for stool eating dogs and hogs. What should you do then? Tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam. You should do tapasya in devotional service to Krishna. And what is the result of it? Yes, you get enjoyment, you get happiness. That is your birthright. The spirit soul's natural inclination is to enjoy. He's made like that. His design is like that. But don't enjoy happiness, low happiness, like the cats and dogs. So you have to perform tapasya. What kind of tapasya? Devotional tapasya, bhakti. And doing so, what you will get? You get enjoyment. What kind of enjoyment? Tva anantam. Brahma saukyam tva anantam. That happiness has no limit. It is uninterrupted, everlasting, which a soul deserves. This is the first instruction of Rishabhadev. And Bharat Maharaj took it seriously. Another instruction of Rishabhadev, because just remembered Rishabhadev, it's coming out of my mouth. He says, one should not become a father, one should not become a mother, one should not become a husband, wife, guru, or a guardian. Patina shashyad, jananina shashyad, guruna shashyad. Unless and until he is able to liberate his dependents from the clutches of birth and death. See, powerful instruction. And his instruction goes on. This had formed the consciousness of his sons. And after Rishabhadeva's quitting his kingly duties, he handed over the power to his eldest son, Bharat. And Bharat, following in the footsteps of his father, Rishabhadev, meticulously, seriously, sincerely, following the ideals of an ideal king, he took care of the whole world based on the principles of dharma. And people were so happy and satisfied by his tenure. He had beautiful wife, children, palace, entourage. He was an ideal king. But at a quite young age, following his footsteps of his father, he also renounced his royal duties. When his son was ready to occupy the royal post. Unlike the modern current politicians who wouldn't until they're forced to by their old age or by their parties or by will of the providence. Bharat Maharaj, he ruled in such a way everyone was happy and satisfied and they were always advancing in spiritual life, Krishna consciousness. Now, why the land was named after him? There were so many other kings like Yudhishthira Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj. But, of course, they all ruled the way, even on par with Bharat Maharaj, or even better than him. Of course, there's no comparison. All are Raja Rishis. Krishna speaks about the word Raja Rishi in the Bhagavad Gita, 4.2. Evam paramparam praptam imam Raja Risho vidyo. He says, in this way, this knowledge was received through kings who were rishis at heart. He gives them examples of three: Vivaswan, Ikshvaku and Manu. In due course of time, it was lost. And the same knowledge I am repeating to you, Arjuna, in the Bhagavad Gita. So these are kings, but they are rishis at heart. And the beauty of Bharat Maharaj, by which the entire tract of land was named after him, is because of the quality of renunciation which he exhibited. Of course, Srimad Bhagavatam mentions about that. It's a long translation of the verse that mentions saying this. Although he had this palace, children's wife, entourage, palace, elephants, horses, generally they're all lovable for a family person or a king. But the way he renounced all these things, just like every day one would go to the washroom and evacuate and just come out without bothering about what went out of the body, in that state of affair, in that state of consciousness, he renounced. Because of his act of renunciation like this, which was appreciated, the entire tract of land of this planet was named after him as Bharatavarsha. Jambudvipa, Bharatavarsha, Bharatakande, Meroho. even in the Vedic literature, pinpointing the exact location of this tract of land. Was eventually, after the advent of Kali Yuga, the Vedic civilization shrunk and shrunk and shrunk so much. Only in this tract of land, as Vishnu Purana says, the Bharat, which is from the heavenly Himalayas to down south in the oceans, it was restricted to this tract of land. Later on, when Iranians, Persians, Tughlaqs and others, Atatainas, invaders, took over the control of this tract of land, they had to cross this river called Sindhu. So they couldn't pronounce the word Sa properly. They don't have that letter in their language. So they termed it as Ha, and it termed to be Hindu. And the place where this Vedic civilization was still intact was called as Hindustan by the Mughals, by the Muslims invaders. And later on, Britishers, for their convenience, they named it as India. So just by naming the country as India, it has lost its spiritual significance. They would say, what is in the name? Lot of things in the name. So when you say Mumbai and Chennai, there's a cultural ethos associated with those cities. The language, the culture, the food, the dressing, the art, the music, people's lifestyle, delicacies, culture, all these things are intertwined into the name. Just like Prayagraj, since ages it is existing. From Allahabad to Prayagraj, just imagine how that matters. Now, just by changing the mere names would not get back to the glory of India. The glory of India will be gotten back when its original glory is got back when you invest in its spiritual emancipation. And that is what Swami Prabhupada had done. That's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted. India is not because of the technological advancement. In 73, when Prabhupada was in the West, he commented in one of the universities in New York in a lecture on July 6, 1972. So he addressed the community of Indians, students there. He said, West is far more advanced than India. The technological advancement, what you want to make, will never compete with the Westerners. They are 100 years ahead. Even now also. Maybe 50 years. Correct? We don't, example, I'm not belittling our glorious country of the technological advancement. Just to give an example. In 1969, they could reach the moon. Of course, in 4 days. Now we, using lesser amount, we could reach in 40 days because we don't have that technology or engine which can take to moon in or the other planets in such a short duration of time. Smaller example. So Indians are not meant to be for the technological advancement. I'm not saying we should not work for that, but Indians by and large are meant for understanding their spiritual values and culture. If India has to give something to the world, that is its spiritual values for which the Indians are known for. And that's how the Bharat's glorification will happen. All across the globe, people used to come to this tract of land for this purpose. Even materially also they were advanced. And thanks to the 800 years of Mughal rule and the 200 years of Britishers rule, and India was reduced to a poverty-stricken third world country. And when Prabhupada went, Indians were in a position to go to US or other Western countries with a begging bowl. Give me some dal, give me some rice, give me some technology. Of course, the condition of the country is relatively better now. India is the 5th economy in the world today. But having said that, whether it is poverty or rich, the glory of India is not in its technology or otherwise. It's there in this rich Vedic traditions. And that was taken to the West by Swami Prabhupada. Single-handedly, he went to US, 1965, he reached there. And with a span of 12 years, what he did, no other Indian could have ever done for for glorifying the Indian tradition and values and culture. He made the Westerners wear dhoti and kurta, wear tilak and kanti. People of different nationality, race, creed, caste, color, cultural differences took to Krishna consciousness. They chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They read Bhagavad Gita. It was not just a cosmetic transformation. Literally, their heart got transformed. Their life got transformed. So much so that even today, they are in a mood to spread this mission. Of course, it had its own setbacks. But nevertheless, all across the world, if today people respect Indian culture, revere Indian values, the credit solely goes to Swami Srila Prabhupada for his tireless preaching of message of Krishna consciousness. Because many in the past before him also went to the West, but they had something different in their mind. They want some money and name and fame. But Prabhupada went there to give, and he continues to give even today. His disciples all across the world today are trying to share this message. That is a rarity of birth in India. Of course, I was researching on the importance of taking birth in Bharatavarsha. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada mentions in one place about directly the verse is also there. I would like to read that verse. It is from 5th canto, 19th chapter, 23rd verse. It says, Kalpayusham stanajayat punarbhavat kshanayusham bharata bujayo varam kshanena martyena kritam manasvinaha sanyasyasya samyanti abhayam padam hare. I would like to read out the translation even. I just don't want to miss what the essence of it. That's why. A short life in the land of Bharatavarsha is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmaloka for millions and billions of years. Because even if one is elevated to Brahmaloka, he must return to the repeated birth and death. Punaravartino Arjuna. Although life in Bharatavarsha, in a lower planetary system, is very short, one who lives there can elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection. Even in this short life, by fully surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord, thus one attains Vaikuntha Loka, where there is neither anxiety nor repeated birth in the material body. So this is the prayers of the Devatas, the heavenly denizens. What is their prayer? They are telling it is better than millions and billions of years in the topmost planetary system. And those who are born in India, instead of being in India, taking the advantage of the spiritual culture and values of India, taking to Krishna consciousness, they want to go to the Western world. For what? For material emancipation, for a better life, for sense gratification. But here, what is the quality of sense gratification in the Western world compared to the Brahma Loka, compared to the heavenly planets? No match. And they who are in the heavenly abode, who are in the Brahma Loka, they desire to take birth in this sacred tract of land. So that quickly, all the very short duration of life, they can remember Krishna, they can completely, Prabhupada uses, elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness, because they can also elevate to a certain degree, but difficult, challenging, because the sense gratificatory opportunities are so immense there. They want to take birth in this tract of land. Another place, Devatas continue to say, they say this, they are regretting their birth in the heavenly abode. They say, after performing the very difficult task of executing Vedic rituals, sacrifices, undergoing austerities, observing vows and giving charity, we have achieved this position as inhabitants of heavenly planets. Because to go to heavenly planets is not easy. It's like to go to US, it's not easy. To get the residentship share, it's not easy. A lot of tapasya is involved. Is it not? To go to Chutku land here with so-called sense gratification, it's so difficult. And what to speak of heavenly abode? Thousands and thousands of years you live. There's no old age and disease. There's only birth, of course, insignificant. Only birth and death. The kind of enjoyment they have. They get this after doing all these things. After achieving all these things, what are they saying? What is the value of this achievement? Devatas are telling, what is the value of this achievement? They go on to say, here we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification. Therefore, we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Narayana. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet. That's why even King of Heaven, Lord Indra, couldn't recognize who Krishna was. Forget about Lord Indra, even Lord Brahma couldn't identify who Krishna was when he appeared in this material world, performing Leelas in Vrajamandala. And therefore, they further say, please allow me to read this. A short life in land of Bharatavarsha is preferably to achieve in, same thing. So an intelligent person does not take interest in the place, even in the topmost planetary system, if the pure Ganges of topics of concerning the Supreme Lord activities does not flow there, if there are not devotees engaged in service on the banks of such river of piety, or if there are no festivals of Sankirtana, Yagna to satisfy the Lord, especially Sankirtana Yagna recommended in this age. These are the prayers, these are the feelings of Devatas who want to take birth in this tract of land. And further, they conclude one last verse for you. We are now living in the heavenly planets, undoubtedly as a result of our having performed ritualistic activities, pious activities, and yagnas, and having studied the Vedas. However, our lives will one day be finished. We pray that at that time, visa khatam ho gaya, abhi wapas deport karna hai unko udhar se. At that time, if any merit remains, thoda sa bhi punya bach jaye, what they want, we may again take birth in Bharatavarsha as human being, as able to remember the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord is so kind that He personally comes to this land of Bharatavarsha and expands the good fortune to its people. So they understand this. They are requesting, थोड़ा सा भी पुण्य रह गया, थोड़ा सा भी विसा में टाइम रह गया, उससे पहले हमको वापस यहाँ पे आना है. एंड वो बता रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे खुद भगवान स्वयं आते हैं. The Lord decides to come and take His appearance, His divine appearance here in this tract of land, Bharatavarsha. And He appears in Mathura. This October 25th, we are going to Vrindavan Dham. Those who have not registered, please do register. Please do join us and come to this glorious tract of land, which doesn't even annihilate when the whole cosmic world gets annihilated. That's a tract of land where Krishna personally appeared. He performed his wonderful Leela. And those who have taken birth in this tract of land, that is natural inclination for them to give up, to renounce. You have to give up the desire to enjoy minus Krishna. And further, Krishna himself, who appeared later on in the beginning of Kali Yuga, 500 years ago, he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he also a special significance and weightage to this particular tract of land. And he openly, emphatically, clearly, straightforward declares. He says, Bharata bhumite hoila manusha janma yara. Janma sartak kari karo paropakara. Now you got this sacred birth in this tract of Bharatavarsha. Not ordinary birth. Devatas hanker for it. Lord chooses to appear here in this tract of land only. The Lord wants to appear, the Devatas want to appear, and those who have taken birth here, they want to go to some other place. This is called colonial mindset. This is called slave mentality. This is called materialism. And by which what you attract? Repetition of birth and death. You may be comfortable going to the tract of land, nothing wrong in it. But forgetting the roots, forgetting the values, forgetting the purpose of human form of life. And those countries where you are going, those citizens of those countries, they are not interested in their culture. They want to embrace our culture. They want to practice Krishna consciousness. They want to have this kind of a lifestyle. And they want to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They want to come to Vrindavan. In Kartik, if you come to Vrindavan, the whole world will be in Krishna Balram temple, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And what will we go in? We'll be going to US for something else. Just imagine our unfortunate thing. Here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, this is a glorious birth what you have got. And he's requesting, here are two important things. One is birth in human form of life, and second in birth in Bharatavarsha. That is very rare. And all of your hearing would be human being, and especially those who are born in this tract of land, 100% for sure. Now, what you should do is Janma Sartak Kari. Janma Sartak Kari means make your life perfect by taking up Krishna consciousness seriously, sincerely, strictly, by every single day chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, following the 4 regulative principles. Then what should you do? This is Janma Sartak Kari. You should yourself perfect. Again, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Apani Acharya Prabhu Jivere Shikhai. You should perfect your life first, then preach the message of Krishna consciousness. Then he says, Janma Sartak Kari Paropakar. Indians are meant for Paropakar. And Paropakar is to make them understand that Tumhara Baap Krishna hai. On a lighter note, on a real note, a genuine note. Because people don't know who is their father, who is their supreme father. Krishna is telling, Aham Bija Pratipita Pita. I'm the seed-giving father of all living entities. He's a loving father, kind father. Yes, Bhagavad Gita is nothing but his expression of love to his sons, especially those sons who can understand him. Human form of life. In that format, you can understand who you are, what your purpose of life is, what is the goal, who is Krishna. And he comes down this tract of land, Bharatavarsha, again to tell you this. And all the acharyas, all the great stalwart acharyas, you name them, they all taken birth in this tract of land, in the southern part of India. The Lord appeared in the northern part of India. This is the sacred land of Bharatavarsha. Where the Lord appears, the great sages appear, and the great acharyas appear, and they have only one goal here, to take all of us back home, back to God. And it's a duty of every Indian to make their life perfect by following these instructions and also spread this message. Prabhupada wanted especially Indians to do this very seriously, especially when he was in India. Nobody supported him, especially Indians. He used to write letters to those politicians. You name them, to Gandhi, to Nehru, to Patel. But no one supported him. He wrote letters to industrialists to support him financially. No one supported him. He wrote letters and requested personally to all whom he knows, who had many sons, to give him one son so that he can train them to be an ideal Vaishnava, so that this message can be spread. When no one was supporting, then Prabhupada says he was forced to go. And that too, when Sumati Moraji, when she booked a berth for Swami Prabhupada in his cargo ship, he needed a P form. Prabhupada used to wander in the government offices to get the P form. And they never used to give him P form. And one fine day, he was frustrated with those government officials. Some Bengali man saw him and said, Swamiji, you looks a little upset. What do you want? Why are you wandering here? I've been seeing you since many days here. Then when he told the problem, he was Banerjee, and he somehow helped him out. And another Indian again helped him out to travel to US 40 days. And when he landed there, another Indian helped him to stay there for some days. Then later on, when he took up Krishna consciousness, spread the message of the Lord, a lot of Westerners took it up seriously. And the glory of India was again revamped in the hearts of these hippies, those who were taken completely to the materialism. And then he brought those Western, European, American, white disciples to India in 70s, to India in Vrindavan. Then he showed them, these are Americans, these are Europeans, and they are from England, Australians. Now you take it up Krishna consciousness seriously. You wanted to ape the Westerners, and I made them devotees. Now you become devotees. Because the colonial mindset was, whatever Goras are doing, that is the best. Even today we have that mindset. So this is what I wanted to share on this talk. It's a responsibility. Bharata Bhumila Hoila Janma Yara, very rare birth. And even more rare is to come in touch with a bona fide spiritual master. 140 crore is the population of India. Among that, to come in touch with an institution like iskcon is even more rare. And to come in touch with Swami Srila Prabhupada, accepting him as a bona fide spiritual master, as a sole Diksha Guru, is even more rare. And all of us who are hearing me have the privilege and the honor and the fortune to follow his instructions. How special, how fortunate we are. So never miss this fortune. Don't misutilize this palladium opportunity. Take it up seriously, Krishna consciousness, and make the glory of Bharata resound, re-establish the whole world by spreading the message of Krishna consciousness. So with this, I stop here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.